Hello guys, today I want to explain you about an exciting anime series called The Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as a Typical Nobody. The story begins with a person who was no longer seen as a human. The people now view him as the greatest demon lord Varvatos. However, he thinks that if people see him gets defeated, they will see him as human again. The predicament was that all the foes capable of challenging him had vanished. Thus, the demon lord came to the conclusion that reincarnation was their only option. And so, we find that the demon lord was reborn as Ard Meteor. On Ard's 10th birthday, he celebrated alongside his average parents in a humble countryside town. Even after his reincarnation, Ard found himself bestowed with good health, stamina, and athleticism. Recognizing that Ard was reaching an age where dreams and future should be contemplated, his caring parents shared their belief. Ard unveiled his grandest aspiration, to form a genuine bond of friendship with someone who wouldn't regard him with fear. When he spotted some children playing outside, Ard gazed at them, no longer as the demon lord but as an ordinary villager. He assumed that the children would naturally desire friendship. However, he was mistaken. The children were merely frightened by his intense gaze and swiftly ran away. Ard couldn't quite comprehend why he had failed, but his determination remained unyielding. Instead of waiting, he decided to take action. His second attempt involved a group of girls. Ard felt a nervousness that surpassed even his battles against gods. He commended the girls for their skill in cornering him, yet his determination remained unwavering. Ard approached them and offered to grant them half the world in exchange for their friendship, only to witness their terror-stricken retreat. Ard was incredulous as he realized that someone who had once buried numerous heroes and annihilated gods now struggled to earn the friendship of children. Ard grappled with his confusion and released his frustration in a nearby forest. Later, the mayor of the town, Alhide, approaches Ard and offers a simple method for making friends. Ard wonders if it involves a powerful spell or an intricate political strategy. To his surprise, Alhide advises him to be kind and respectful. Intrigued, Ard decides to give it another try with the same group of kids. This time, he is exceedingly polite and formal. However, his efforts fail once again. Feeling frustrated, Ard briefly contemplates the idea of destroying the entire world. However, he quickly reminds himself not to repeat the mistakes of his past life. Just then, he hears an angry scream in the distance and rushes to investigate. He finds a young girl venting her frustration on a beast. Back at home, Mayor Alhide expresses his concerns about his daughter to Ard's parents. The girl has isolated herself from others due to constant bullying and gossip, solely because of her lineage. Ard approaches the girl and compliments her fighting skills. However, he realizes that she might not appreciate excessive praise, so he offers a critique, suggesting that she still has room for improvement. Doubting his approach, Ard panics and blurts out his desire to be friends. He explains that he believes they share similarities, but this only upsets her further. She retorts that it's impossible for him to know anything about her since he doesn't truly understand her. Overwhelmed, Ard returns home and sees the girl crying in the comforting arms of her father, Alhide. As time goes on, Ard discovers that her name is Irina. Believing that destiny has brought them together through their parents' close friendship, Ard is determined to forge a bond with her. He is unwavering in his efforts to act kind and respectful towards her. On her birthday, he presents her with a flower, confidently claiming to know every detail about her, even the number of moles on her skin. However, Irina finds Ard's behavior unsettling and consistently rejects his advances. Despite facing repeated rejection, Ard declares that he will never give up. That night, he reflects on the strategies he has employed so far, from offering bribes to expressing his feelings through poems and music. As he ponders, he hears screams from outside and discovers that the town is under attack by monsters. While Ard's father instructs him to return home, their conversation is interrupted by Alhide, who is searching for Irina since she has not yet returned. Ard realizes that his actions frightened her and caused her to flee into the mountains. In another location, Irina finds herself surrounded by trolls. The troll leader taunts her, urging her to call for help from her friends. However, she admits to having no friends and loses hope, feeling that life has lost its joy. Just as she is about to be attacked, Irina cannot help but cry out for help. At that moment, a powerful blast pushes the monsters back. Ard emerges and is overjoyed to hear Irina utter his name for the first time ever. Although the monsters reject Ard's offer to escape, he effortlessly defeats them all. Irina cannot comprehend why he saved her, as she simply wishes for death. Ard disapproves of her bleak perspective, and she believes he cannot truly understand the profound loneliness and isolation she experiences. While he admits that he may not fully comprehend the cause of her pain, Ard asserts that he understands the suffering brought about by isolation better than anyone else. Irina fears that even if they were to become friends, Ard would eventually betray her like everyone else. However, he reassures her that he has learned from his past mistakes and will never betray a friend again. As Irina lists her flaws, anticipating that Ard will come to despise her, he remains persistent, genuinely enjoying her company. Finally, she agrees to be friends, and they clasp hands. Years pass, and it is evident that they remain close friends. One day, Irina suggests that they consider attending a magic academy. Later, we witness the duo eagerly awaiting the results of their entrance exam. Irina easily finds her name on the list, but Ard's name seems to have disappeared. After a thorough search, they eventually locate it, only to discover that Ard has received a score of 0. However, to their surprise, he has still managed to pass. The headmaster arrives and provides a perplexing explanation, stating that all of Ard's incorrect answers were actually correct from the perspective of an alternative ideology. More significantly, the headmaster proclaims Ard Meteor to be a genius due to his lineage. Ard is revealed to have inherited the blood of the renowned mage, Jack Meteor, and his wife Carla, who had vanquished an evil deity and safeguarded the peace of the royal capital years ago. On their way to class, Irina is astonished to learn that Ard's parents and her own father were celebrated heroes. While Ard feels a bit disheartened upon discovering that he is not simply an ordinary person, he takes solace in the fact that he has Irina as his companion. As they enter the classroom, they find that all the students are eager to befriend them, likely due to Ard's famous parents. The pair then stand up for a girl named Elraldo, who is being bullied because she hails from a family of servants. Ard boldly demands that the bully apologize, but his words only serve to further irritate him. The bully accuses Ard of riding on the glory of his parents and challenges him to a duel. Irina warns that the bully holds a high rank for someone his age. Before the argument escalates, Lady Olivia, one of the top generals of Demon Lord Varvatos, intervenes. Ard recognizes her immediately and suspects her anger towards Varvatos for abandoning his duties to reincarnate. In a momentary slip, Ard almost speaks to her in a familiar manner, nearly revealing his secret. However, Olivia dismisses it and allows the duel, eager to witness their powers firsthand. Ard is consumed with thoughts of how to end the duel without arousing Olivia's suspicion. Elraldo's friends claim that Ard is in deep trouble as Elraldo's strength is formidable. The duel commences with Elraldo launching an attack that Ard effortlessly blocks. Another attack, named the Mega Flare by Elraldo, is also deflected by Ard. Ard now realizes that Elraldo is using low-level spells with embarrassing names to put on a show. This realization infuriates Elraldo, who unleashes what he calls the Giga Flare. However, Ard easily intercepts the attack, criticizing Elraldo for dishonoring the name and expressing his intention to teach him a true Giga Flare. The ferocious counterattack forces Elraldo to surrender and apologize to the girl he bullied. As the girl expresses her gratitude, Olivia interrupts, noting how she observed Ard using a defensive spell to protect Elraldo from the Giga Flare. She remarks that the ability to cast 2 spells simultaneously is a lost skill in the present era. Olivia grows increasingly skeptical of Ard, questioning how he possesses this ability but remains unaware of its rarity. Although she decides to let it go for now, she vows to uncover his true identity eventually. Later, Olivia assigns her students to form groups of 3 for field training. Ard and Irina invite the formerly bullied girl, Ginny, to join them. Their mission is to skin a B-class wolf, which the other students find daunting. However, Ard's group effortlessly handles the wolves in battle. Unfortunately, their powerful attacks prevent them from successfully skinning the wolf. Ginny apologizes for being a hindrance, but Ard offers to give her lessons to help boost her confidence. Confused, Ginny wonders why they would go through the trouble, and Ard and Irina explain that it's because they are friends. Ginny then agrees to the offer and he attempts to teach her a few things. She fails miserably and it becomes clear that years of torment have caused her to lose all confidence in herself. Ard then teaches her a very simple spell that he created, and to her delight, she's able to use it on a wolf. However, as they go to skin it, they fall through a trap and are attacked by the final boss Minotaur. Ard uses this as an opportunity to continue his lesson and methodically brings a monster near death. Ard turns to Ginny and requests that she finish it off. Ginny can't do it, and Ard encourages her to muster up the courage to bid farewell to her past. He says that this is the moment she must finally decide to change her life. She thinks back on how she had never faced the challenges before, hoping that one day someone like the Demon Lord would rescue her. She finally decides that she no longer wants to run or cry and wants to become stronger. She defeats the monster and the friends all then congratulate each other. Outside, the bully returns, insulting Ginny and Ard as well. However, this time Ginny has had enough, stating that he can say what he wants about her, but to not insult Ard. The bully continues, even insulting Irina, and Ginny slaps him, sending him flying. Irina joins in to defend Ginny, and Ard can't help but feel good about the trio's growing friendship. However, his good thoughts are short-lived, as Olivia grabs his shoulder and she asks him to have nice chat with her in furious way. But what she actually wanted was to take him to Headmaster's office. The Headmaster approached Ard with a request to participate in a magic tournament in order to secure an education budget for the school, which was facing financial difficulties. Ard, reluctant to display his strength in front of a large audience, promptly declined the Headmaster's offer. However, the Headmaster persisted and managed to convince Ard to consider participating in the tournament, to which Ard agreed, promising to think it over. As Ard contemplated how to politely refuse the Headmaster's request to join the tournament, he was taken by surprise when Ginny approached him, asking him out on a date. Irina, who was aware of Ginny's proposal, spoke up and declared her own desire to go on a date with Ard. With no other choice, Ard found himself going on a date with both girls. The following day, the trio began their date by attending a drama show called The Demon Lord Varvatos. Along the way, they overheard a conversation among a group of mysterious black-robed men who were plotting to assassinate the queen. Upon hearing this, Ard resolved to thwart their plans and apprehend them to ensure the safety of the queen and the kingdom. Irina and Ginny insisted on assisting him, so the three of them trailed the robed men. They followed the robed men into an underground tunnel, only to discover that they had been lured into a trap, with the intent of taking them hostage to confront the queen. Ard remained composed and employed mocking words to provoke the robed men, enraging one of them who launched a magical attack. However, the attack had no effect on Ard, the demon lord. In response, he effortlessly eliminated the robed men with a mere snap of his fingers. The leader of the robed group, a black-clad figure, managed to survive Ard's onslaught and transformed into a sinister demon. Instead of engaging Ard with his demonic power, the demon fled the scene, taking flight with his wings. Ard, determined not to let the demon escape and unleash havoc in the city, pursued him to the city center and vanquished him, ensuring the city's safety. As Ard's heroic victory over the demon was witnessed by the residents, they erupted in cheers and applause. News of his brave deed reached the queen, who extended an invitation to Ard and his companions to visit the palace and receive an award. At the palace, Ard and Irina were honored with the prestigious titles of Tier 5 Mage, a remarkable achievement in the kingdom. Ginny, too, was recognized with the title of Tier 3 Mage. However, Ard, not desiring to be the center of attention due to his magical abilities, humbly declined the award. Instead, he earnestly requested the queen to allocate the education budget to Laval National Academy of Magic, relieving him from the obligation to participate in the tournament as per the headmaster's request. The queen, deeply impressed by Ard's modesty, granted his request and bestowed the gift of the education budget upon the academy. Meanwhile, the menacing gang of black-robed men, though not entirely vanquished by Ard, continued to plot their revenge against him. Their sinister plan extended beyond seeking vengeance. They aimed to conquer the kingdom and establish their rule under their leader. At the same time, the headmaster engaged in a serious conversation with Lady Jessica, one of the teachers at the Magic Academy. The headmaster expressed his desire to recruit Ard as a teacher for the academy. However, due to Ard's decision not to participate in the tournament after securing the budget, the headmaster harbored concerns that the financiers might oppose the idea, as Ard had never showcased his magical abilities to them. Upon learning of this dilemma, Lady Jessica assured the headmaster that she had a solution to address the problem at hand. Meanwhile, Ginny pays a surprise visit to Ard's room, dressed provocatively. She confesses her desire to be the first in Ard's harem, but before anything happens, Irina walks in and is taken aback by the scene. However, noticing Irina's own enticing outfit, Ginny poses the same question, leading to a heated rivalry over Ard's affection. Just as the tension rises, Lady Jessica intervenes and suggests a solution. Lady Jessica proposes that Irina and Ginny join the magic tournament as Ard's apprentices. By showcasing their skills and progressing to the final rounds, Ard would gain the trust of the teacher council and the funders. This, in turn, would enable the headmaster to recruit Ard as a teacher at the Magic Academy. Initially hesitant about becoming a teacher, Ard is persuaded by Irina and Ginny, who are eager to see him in a teacher's outfit. Ultimately, Ard agrees to Jessica's proposal, and the trio sets off to participate in the magic tournament. The tournament commences amidst great anticipation and enthusiasm from the spectators. Major Alhide, along with Ard's parents, Jack and Carla, are among the honored guests. In the initial rounds, Irina and Ginny effortlessly defeat their opponents, securing their advancement. Victory follows them in each battle, leading them to the final round where they must face each other. However, just before the final match, chaos erupts as a group of black-robed men infiltrate the tournament venue. They transform into menacing demons, attacking the audience. Realizing the peril, Jessica implores Olivia and Ard to rescue the spectators while she aids the participants fighting against the demons. Irina and Ginny find themselves struggling against a formidable demon until Alhide arrives in the nick of time to assist them. Unexpectedly, the tables turn when Jessica, or rather Elzard, the frenzied Dragon King, betrays everyone. She admits to murdering Jessica and assuming her identity to infiltrate the academy. Elzard reveals her intention to make Irina her captive, unleashing a shocking revelation about Irina's family secret and her plan to summon an evil god and bring destruction to the world. Meanwhile, Ard and Ginny rush to rescue Irina, their determination unwavering. They locate her in Elzard's magical prison, where Ard promises to save her. Elzard has already begun the ritual to sacrifice Irina to the monstrous orphan of chaos. Ard arrives just in time to disrupt the ritual and thwart Elzard's plans. Enraged, Elzard exposes the truth about Irina's royal lineage, her descent from the evil gods. Unfazed, Ard remains steadfast, declaring his unwavering friendship for Irina. A fierce battle ensues between Ard and Elzard, with Elzard resorting to her true dragon form. Observing the transformation, Ard taps into his own hidden powers, assuming his Varvatos form. He recognizes Elzard's underlying loneliness but refuses to tolerate the threat against Irina. In a display of formidable strength, Ard ultimately defeats Elzard, putting an end to her treachery. After Elzard's defeat, he returns to his true form. On their way home, Irina initially feels scared of Ard, but she remembers his acceptance of her, even after learning her secret. She vows to become strong so that she can fight alongside him. This anime continues with the introduction of Sylphie, a young elf girl who dedicated thousands of years to training in a dungeon to vanquish the demon lord Varvatos. Sylphie is the younger sister of Lydia Beginskate, who was once Varvatos' loyal servant and close friend, and later reincarnated as Ard Meteor. When Sylphie finally emerges from the dungeon, she is bewildered and panics upon realizing that the world around her has drastically changed. She encounters a masked man who informs her that time passes differently within the dungeon, and 3,000 years have elapsed since she entered. Sylphie learns the heartbreaking news that Varvatos and her sister, Lydia, have long since passed away, but Varvatos' soul now resides within Ard Meteor. Meanwhile, at the Laval National Academy of Magic, the headmaster announces an upcoming festival that includes a stage performance. The headmaster personally requests Ard to participate. Additionally, the headmaster reveals a threatening letter addressed to the school, sent by someone named Lars Al Ghul. Ard, Irina, and Ginny are entrusted with the task of safeguarding the school from this threat. When the three of them return to class, Ard is surprised by Sylphie's appearance. She approaches him, confronting him about his reincarnation and the fate of Lydia. Ard pretends to be oblivious, while Olivia, who knew Sylphie from 3,000 years ago, is highly intrigued by her claims that Ard is the demon lord Varvatos. To dispel Olivia's suspicions, Ard agrees to a duel with Sylphie. His intention is to hold back his true power and deliberately lose, ensuring that Olivia and Sylphie remain unaware of his true identity. However, Sylphie's anger gets the better of her, and she unleashes a powerful magic technique, inadvertently causing destruction to the surrounding school buildings. Ard and Olivia attempt to restrain her, but she remains adamant about defeating Ard at full strength. Witnessing this, Irina reprimands Sylphie for the damage caused to the school and the fear instilled in the students. Unexpectedly, Sylphie breaks down in tears upon seeing the resemblance between Irina and her sister, Lydia. Touched by Irina's presence, Sylphie listens to her words, apologizes for the chaos, and ceases the fight. Soon after, Ard's class decides to stage a performance portraying the life of the demon lord Varvatos, with Ard assuming the role of Varvatos, Irina as Lydia, and Sylphie as the evil god. As part of their class project, they organize a maid cafe during the festival, featuring daring outfits designed by Ginny. The girls reluctantly agree to wear these outfits only after learning that they will be serving Ard. Unbeknownst to them, a masked man observes their preparations, eagerly anticipating Sylphie's reaction when she discovers the truth of what transpired 3,000 years ago. Finally, the day of the school festival arrives. Ard and Irina patrol the school and ensure the event's security until its conclusion. While enjoying a cup of ice cream, they are startled by an explosion emanating from the school's backyard. It turns out that Sylphie, in a display of her magical powers, mistakenly perceived an old man as a demon and threatened him. Rushing to Sylphie's side, Lady Olivia clarifies that the elderly man is just an ordinary human, not a demon as Sylphie had believed. After resolving the chaos, Irina and Ard engage in a conversation about a sacred tree that is believed to hold a magic item sealed by the Great Sword King centuries ago. They approach Lady Olivia to inquire about the legend. However, she evades their questions and redirects the discussion toward the upcoming Great Sword King tournament. Olivia reveals her intention to participate in the tournament alongside Ard, whom she had secretly registered. This revelation angers Ard as Olivia assumed his participation without seeking his consent. In a bold move, she threatens to expose his background to everyone if he refuses to join. Irritated by Olivia's nonchalant attitude, Ard decides to cool off by visiting the maid cafe organized by his class. Upon arrival, Ard finds himself even more exasperated by Sylphie's volatile behavior, which leads to a chaotic situation. The tension escalates when the girls in his class quarrel over who should serve Ard. However, the commotion abruptly ceases when an announcement about the Great Sword King tournament commencing the next day captures their attention. What surprises Ard the most is the tournament's prize, a replica of Vald Galgus, the sword once wielded by the Great Sword King. Aware that Ard will participate, Irina and Ginny decide to sign up for the tournament as well. Sylphie also joins with the sole purpose of obtaining the prize. The following day, Olivia, Ard, Sylphie, and Irina effortlessly emerge victorious in their matches and progress to the semi-finals. Despite initially facing a formidable opponent, Ginny manages to secure a win, advancing alongside her friends. After the matches, Ginny invites Ard to participate with her in a Miss and Mr. Beauty contest. At the contest venue, Ard encounters Araldo, who has undergone a slight transformation and is no longer a bully. Araldo confesses that he and Ginny were close friends in their childhood, but his father instilled a sense of superiority in him, leading to his past mistreatment of her. Araldo expresses his hope to apologize and seek forgiveness someday. This revelation prompts Ard to reflect on his own past with Lydia and empathize with Sylphie for not revealing the truth about her sister's fate. After Ard and Ginny emerge as winners of the Miss and Mr. Beauty contest, they hastily return to the Great Sword King tournament location to resume their matches. In the semi-finals, Ard faces off against Lady Olivia, who unleashes her full power against him, compelling him to unleash his true strength and reveal his identity. However, Ard inadvertently launches an attack that sends Olivia flying out of the arena, resulting in his disqualification from the tournament. Consequently, the fight is cancelled as Olivia fails to return in time, leading to her disqualification as well. In the subsequent match, Irina squares off against Ginny, who fights not for victory but for Ard's attention. Irina emerges triumphant with relative ease. Meanwhile, the masked man observes Ard and the others from a distance, preparing to execute his plan. Prior to the final match of the Great Sword King tournament, Irina and Sylphie, along with their classmates, join Ard in a dramatic performance depicting the life of the Demon Lord Varvatos. Irina is apprehensive, fearing that her portrayal might tarnish Lydia's image. However, Ard and Sylphie encourage her, highlighting her physical resemblance to Lydia and her embodiment of the same spirit and self-confidence as the valiant warrior. Upon hearing Irina's heartfelt performance as Lydia, her confidence is restored, and she flawlessly portrays the character. Meanwhile, Ard realizes that the stage production is based on the Battle of Avia de Savirs, a battle he won thanks to Sylphie's strategic placement of magical traps on the battlefield and her acquisition of the enemy commander's sword, Demise Argus. The drama show concludes triumphantly, receiving immense praise from the audience. On the other hand, Sylphie's demeanor appears somber as she yearns for her long-lost sister. Despite Irina's striking resemblance to Lydia, she cannot fill the void in Sylphie's heart. Sensing Sylphie's sorrow, the masked man approaches her and whispers something to her. The following day at the tournament venue, Ard and Ginny discuss Sylphie's unusual behavior after the drama performance. Soon after, Sylphie arrives and requests Ard's presence at the sacred tree later that night. Perceiving her odd demeanor, Ard wonders what might have transpired. In short, Irina and Sylphie step into the arena for the final match of the Great Sword King tournament. Sylphie effortlessly defeats Irina, claiming victory and the coveted prize, Vald Galgus, an immensely valuable sword treasured by Sylphie. In the evening, Ard complies with Sylphie's request and meets her at the sacred tree, where she awaits him, clutching the sword Vald Galgus. Meanwhile, Irina and Ginny, concerned about Ard and Sylphie, silently observe from a distance. Sylphie unveils that the replica sword is, in fact, the authentic Vald Galgus, and the sealed magic item within the tree serves as its power source. She merges the two, completing Vald Galgus, and summons her Demise Argus, intending to kill Ard. The masked man watches gleefully, revealing his control over Sylphie's mind, showing her a memory of Varvatos murdering Lydia. A fierce battle ensues between Ard and Sylphie, whose mind is under the masked man's influence, driven by her determination to eliminate Ard, whom she believes to be the reincarnation of the demon lord Varvatos. Witnessing their intense clash, Irina and Ginny emerge from their hiding spot, joining Ard in his fight against Sylphie. However, they prove no match for Sylphie, who has grown stronger through years of arduous training. She effortlessly overpowers them, showing no hesitation in harming the two girls. Witnessing his friend's defeat, Ard has no choice but to unleash his true form as Varvatos and engage Sylphie in a determined duel. Midway through the battle, Sylphie hears Lydia's voice emanating from within Vald Galgus's sword, breaking the masked man's control over her. Consequently, she ceases the fight. Simultaneously, the masked man emerges before them, revealing his true intention to resurrect his master at the expense of Irina. While he manipulated Sylphie into attempting Ard's assassination, his scheme fails. Ard destroys him as he tries to wield the swords Vald Galgus and Demise Argus, which ultimately reject him due to his insufficient power. At that moment, the apparition of Lydia materializes from Vald Galgus's sword, assuring Sylphie that Varvatos was not responsible for her demise and encouraging her to embrace a fulfilling life. Before fading away, Lydia affectionately calls Ard a dumbass, to which he remains unsurprised. The following day, Ard and his classmates embark on an outing outside of school, riding in a horse-drawn carriage. During the journey, Ard spends leisure time playing cards with Irina and Ginny. Suddenly, time freezes for everyone except them. Soon after, they find themselves transported to a white void, encountering a mysterious boy who claims to be a god. Before they can inquire or confirm anything, the boy vanishes abruptly. Subsequently, it feels as if they have been teleported to a magical realm, and Ard realizes they have traveled back to ancient times upon spotting the twin moons in the sky. Not only have they returned to the past, but they have also arrived in the territory of the demon lord Varvatos, specifically the Machina district within the Vardia Empire's domain. Ard speculates that completing the task bestowed upon them by the enigmatic boy may enable their return home. Amidst their conversation, their attention is captured by the screams of a girl evading a colossal scorpion's pursuit. Witnessing the perilous situation, Ard swiftly sprang into action, using his formidable magical prowess to effortlessly vanquish the menacing creature. To their astonishment, The girl they rescued turned out to be one of Olivia's loyal followers, who was still part of the 4 heavenly kings under the leadership of Varvatos. Irina and Ginny almost let slip their time travel experience, but Ard adeptly changed the topic, avoiding any suspicion from Olivia. Impressed by Ard's display of power, Olivia extended an invitation for them to join her camp, as they were currently engaged in a battle against otherworldly adversaries. Upon discovering Ard's ability to dispatch the giant scorpion with ease, Olivia implored him to join her army in their fight. Ard agreed, under the condition that Olivia and her forces serve under Verda's command, ensuring the safety of the girls away from the front lines. Although Ard didn't delve into the details, Olivia had no choice but to accept the terms he proposed. With that settled, Ard and his companions swiftly made their way to Verda's location. Arriving there, Irina and Ginny found themselves taken aback by Verda's appearance, which starkly contrasted the historical records. Ard proceeded to disclose the truth about their time-traveling origins, captivating Verda's interest in such a rare phenomenon. Eager to assist Ard and his companions in their return to their own time, Verda offered her help. It wasn't long before Lydia and Sylphie arrived at Verda's abode, seeking reinforcements. Lydia, upon noticing Ginny's presence, became intrigued and attempted to recruit her for her own army. Ard, aware of Lydia's true intentions, intervened, rejecting her proposal and provoking her ire. A challenge was issued, and Ard found himself locked in combat with Lydia, Varvatos' formidable right-hand woman. Despite Lydia's impressive combat skills, the duel ended in a stalemate. Acknowledging Ard's abilities firsthand, Lydia extended an invitation for him to join her army, which fought on the front lines. However, Ard declined, insisting that Lydia arrange a meeting with the demon lord Varvatos instead. Lydia expressed her willingness to arrange such a meeting with Varvatos, albeit with a condition that Ard and his companions prove their worth in battle. Following this agreement, Ard and his companions were granted residence alongside Lydia and Sylphie in the home of a young woman named Latima. Later that night, as Ard contemplated alone, Latima approached him, emphasizing that Lydia considered them friends and family, urging them to feel at ease while living there. Ard couldn't help but be reminded of his past, haunted by the memory of having been forced to end Lydia's life, his cherished friend, with his own hands. Overwhelmed by guilt, he found it difficult to forgive himself. As time passed, Ard and his companions were finally assigned to the battlefield, tasked with aiding Verda on the defensive line. It became evident that they were engaged in a fierce conflict against the Outer Ones and the Demon's army. Lydia and Sylphie, leading the vanguard, effortlessly decimated the enemy, even overwhelming their fortifications. However, they soon realized that it was all a cunning ruse orchestrated by the enemy to diminish their fighting force by attacking the defensive line. Learning that the enemy commander, Bolgan, was launching an assault on the defenders, Lydia and Sylphie hastened to provide assistance. To their astonishment, Ard swiftly defeated Bolgan, resulting in Lydia's admiration for his heroic actions. In light of this, she escorted Ard and his companions to the capital, where they would meet Varvatos within the palace walls. Irina and Ginny couldn't contain their excitement, finally having the chance to encounter the legendary figure they idolized. As Lydia and Sylphie escorted Ard and his companions through the Grand Palace hallway, they were taken aback by a sudden assault initiated by Alvardo, one of the 4 heavenly kings notorious for his love of intense battles. However, it became evident that Alvardo merely sought to test Ard's capabilities and wasn't truly attacking them. Nevertheless, he ended up engaging in combat with Lydia, prompting the appearance of Varvatos, who intervened and separated them. Varvatos warmly welcomed Ard and his companions, leaving Irina and Ginny even more captivated by the enigmatic demon lord. Yet, Ard couldn't help but feel a twinge of jealousy towards Varvatos, who unknowingly embodied his own persona. Engaging in conversation with Varvatos, they discovered that his army was currently locked in a formidable conflict against an enemy whose leader proclaimed himself as the Demon King. This revelation confused Ard since, until now, he had been the sole recipient of the Demon King title. After their encounter with Varvatos, they deliberated on the matter with Verda, who speculated that the past encounter between Varvatos and the Demon King, resulting in a stalemate, prompted the latter to attempt to alter history by preventing their interference. Verda then recounted the appearance of the Demon King 3 years prior when he launched a massive assault on their territory. Despite Varvatos' direct confrontation, he was unable to defeat the Demon King. During their discussion, Lydia suddenly arrived and beseeched Ard's assistance, along with Sylphie, in a raid against Mavilas, known as the Cursed King, who Ard remembered as the one responsible for cursing and coercing Varvatos into killing Lydia. However, upon reaching Mavilas' stronghold, they discovered that he had already been slain by a mysterious knight in dark armor, the Demon King himself, who proclaimed his intention to vanquish Varvatos and conquer the world before vanishing. Subsequently, Lydia, Ard, and Sylphie hastened to the capital to inform Varvatos of the Demon King's war declaration. Upon hearing the news, Varvatos gathered his subordinates, including Ard and his companions, to strategize their next move. Varvatos announced their resolve to confront the Demon King, reclaim their usurped territory, and vanquish his reign. While Ard contemplated the significance of these events in solitude, the Demon King suddenly materialized before him, unveiling a shocking truth. He was Ard Meteor from a grim future where he renamed himself Disaster Rogue after losing everything. Sent back in time by a divine mission to destroy the world and confront Varvatos, the Demon King attempted to persuade Ard to join his cause. He revealed that his primary motive was to save Lydia, as her fate remained sealed even if they chose to save the world. Ard, still haunted by guilt from having to kill Lydia in the past, found himself almost swayed by the Demon King's words and his offer to rescue her. However, Ard hesitated, prompting the Demon King to grant him time to consider before vanishing. Following their encounter, Ard crossed paths with Latimer, who considered Lydia as her family and expressed unwavering determination to protect her. Witnessing Ard's indecision, Lydia sensed his turmoil and inquired about his troubles. In a cryptic manner, Ard questioned what she would do if she had to sacrifice herself to rectify a mistake. Upon receiving her resolute response, Ard resolved to set aside thoughts of Lydia's fate, knowing that she had wholeheartedly embraced her destiny, even if it meant sacrificing herself for the realization of the world's longed-for peace. In short, the fateful day of battle arrived. Olivia and her comrades, the four heavenly kings, effortlessly dispatched the monstrous creatures, while Lydia and Sylphie encountered no trouble dealing with the enemy forces. Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, Ard clandestinely sought out Rogue, initiating a conversation where he declared his acceptance of Lydia's fate and her path to redemption. Enraged by this revelation, Rogue and Ard engaged in an intense clash, their strengths eerily matched. It was during this confrontation that Rogue cunningly disclosed his plan, having anticipated Ard's decision to allow Lydia's demise in order to safeguard the world. As Ard fought against the enemy forces on the battlefield, Irina and Ginny couldn't help but worry about his safety. Meanwhile, during their time at Latimer's house, they were approached by Latimer herself, who informed them of a mission requested by Ard. Little did they know, this mission involved infiltrating the enemy's stronghold and destroying a crystal that granted Disaster Rogue immortality. However, upon reaching their destination, Latimer betrayed them, revealing her allegiance to Rogue, and bound them to magic-nullifying crosses. To their dismay, Rogue presented the captive girls and issued an ultimatum to Ard: join him or watch Irina and Ginny perish, emphasizing his willingness to sacrifice anyone for the sake of Lydia's survival. However, Irina and Ginny, employing unconventional magic taught by Ard, managed to escape the confines of the crosses. Unfazed by their resilience, Latimer summoned a group of monstrous creatures, expressing her readiness to eliminate anyone who stood in the way of saving Lydia. With his immortality stripped away, Rogue attacked Ard in a fit of rage. In the midst of their battle, memories of their past conflicts with Lydia flooded their minds, prompting the appearance of Lydia's apparition, which temporarily restrained Rogue, granting Ard the opportunity to strike the fatal blow. As soon as Rogue met his demise, Ard, Irina, and Ginny suddenly vanished from the scene. Lydia, aware of their origins from the future, approached the two girls, inquiring about the happiness of the people in their time. She entrusted them with a message for Ard, urging them to relay it once they confirmed the happiness of their era. In a white void, a mysterious boy expressed gratitude to Ard for successfully completing the mission, choosing to withhold his identity but affirming his status as an ally. Subsequently, the trio regained consciousness in the present, shortly after their departure, while Olivia and Sylphie noticed their temporary slumber. Not long after, Irina conveyed Lydia's heartfelt message to Ard, assuring him that their friendship would endure through any circumstances. Simultaneously, Ard found solace in the presence of Lydia's apparition, watching over him with affection. This brings an end to our anime series. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel, Annie Explainer.